So this one is about running everything super fast in Docker. There are advantages and disadvantages to it. I'm going to discuss one of the advantages that if you want to work on initramfs code very, very, very fast, like the previous video that we're talking about Docker and the rootfs was about very, very fast in the rootfs, but what if you want to work on initramfs stuff? So yeah, building and having like the emulator is super fast as well. But what if you want to do something like a live reload? So this pscg-dockos-rd is used for that. I'll just go over scripts, and this is the idea of this project. So the idea is as follows. In the first setup, we are going to create a couple of fake files. One of them is going to be for the storage that we will want to use, and the other one is going to be for the command line, for the removable media. So these are these two fellows over here, and essentially we're going to create like an empty file, and later we're going to be able to link or copy, linking is fine, like an installer to the other removable media. The other fake file that we will have is the command line, so it enables you to practice with a command line. For example, this one with a wait for removable media means that there is an installer. Installer A only false means that upon the installer it will try to do AB updates, and the BSP here would be Docker. For a lot of things, there have been a couple of years ago some videos about like the AB overlay strategy and the overlay strategies in general, so I will not put it in this video. So this is the first preparation, like a setup of some hardware, and then we build like a Docker image as well. And here we are going to make sure that if we have like an installer image, then we will link it properly. And there are some other interesting stuff over here. So the Docker file itself, let's go ahead and look at it. So it doesn't do much. It starts from scratch. It takes a couple of files that are in this directory. Okay. Enter DFS. That are basically enable us to run a script, so they have like BusyBox. And trivial init does some things. It actually supports several things, but let's take it on let's look at the one that essentially doesn't like mount. We have like the OTA additions that mount in partitions in order to control the state completely, like without a disk. This is one option. Forget about it now. It is possible. I'm not explaining it now. You can play with it. The important thing here is that we're going to have a fake stuff directory, okay, and we are going to use the things there as a root target later on. Now, who will do it? The Docker BSP will do it. So I have it like on Visual Studio here, I think, on Visual Code. Let's see where. Forget about the audio. Yeah. So it's going to take the files that are in the fake storage that are given to it. This folder is going to be bind mount given to this Docker. And then it's going to mount them and refer to them as like the devices, like as the MMC device or like the removable device and so on. Okay, instead of giving them like from outside, like in a real hardware, or from outside like in QEMU, we do it internally. So that's the thing that we do. And then this root target is going to be the RAM disk that we have, but we need to figure out how to make this. And init will be the same init as the initramfs. So that's a trivial init one. So what we have is this prepare run folder. that it's going to take. Here we have like a couple of paths. If you are into it, you'll just pause or look at the code and do it. So we have an installer that we take. We have a source initramfs. That is something that has already been built or been worked with, okay? And we also apply a trick. So on top of this initramfs, if you want to take some things from our live project, for example, whatever we work on here, then we can overlay it on top of it. And we essentially going to overlay it with overlayfs. And this is what this script quickly create overlay initramfs folder does. And if you want to do that, you will it will create a merge in pscg-dockos-rd overlays. And before running the next script line, which will actually run Docker with everything that we want, this is what we're going to be running. So there are some checks here. There's like Docker building, and there's other things that we have. Okay. So we're going. Let's have a quick look at this overlay here. This is what I'm mounting. Okay. And deleting. Why? Because when this script is run and it's being called from prepare run, it's going to create the folder and it's going to do that. So let's have a look at it. So we have like a lower dir, upper dir, and work dir. The lower dir has been created by copying whatever we had when we did like the preparation. Upper dir, look at this. This is the path where I have my project. It is this one, for example. I usually work with VI, but when I want to show a lot of things fast, then I sometimes do it. And this is like the work dir, like for setting up overlayfs, and merge will be like the target. So if we are going to use the parameter that we recommended, that is okay, I will run the script and then I'll say what I recommend. So what we do is we create an overlayfs over merge, and we're going to provide merge as a parameter. So if I run the script, it will tell me, hey, you may run with initrdfs, maybe I should paint it, blah 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 blah. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Now let's run this fellow. I am already in helpers, so I will run this here, and look what's going on. So we have here, we have like an installer. This is the command line that is being given. It's from the fake command line, okay? And it says wait for multiple media and installer A only equal false. So it will do like an AB update because of the trick that I had like in the flasher. So it's pending installer, blah, 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 blah. And it will pass later like to the operating system. This is like the end. If we have like multiple reboots, then it will do that. And that is like how it runs and it merges it. Okay. So forget about like the pulsing here. There is like a bug that was introduced for having all the BSP that are not UMU have like this random PCM sound. But if we don't actually pass the host devices, which we don't want to do, to Docker, then there is no really point in doing anything with sound. So this will be, we are going to live patch it like on the fly. And this is like the system that runs. We can see that it's like an Alpine, like we built. And you can ignore this dev HVC 0 and so on, because the OTA code runs simply because, so let me get out of here. Simply because like the HVC would be like a hypervisor console, but it gets a device like from my host. It's not like on an emulator, so one can go and just remove the creation of it when they create like the image. This is insignificant. It doesn't happen like in Debian, so I'm not even like touching it. But we have an interesting concept here. So I'm going to unmount it, and I will indeed go and like fix this audio thing that I had. So I'm just going to override the functions BSP play sound from generated on the fly sequence, which was what created, I think I showed it like in the AM logic video. create all kinds of notes, okay, according to a sound that is being played. And that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to now actually give this overlay, okay? I will create it and I will use like this overlay. So I'll do prepare. It is important because I set like the overlay, but essentially because my newer deer is like the upper one. Let's see that. So we have like the upper deer, which would be my source file. If it's already mounted, it doesn't matter. I don't really need to re-prepare it, okay? If I change the upper deer, it will change the merge deer. So I did it like to be more ordered, but it's unnecessary. So now I'm going to run it. It's again like with the same command line, and this is our change. We no longer have like this rate error. So this is our change. We could just go ahead. This is because of the root file system again, and actually it could be interesting to show it. And this is TTY. Let's see which TTY it is. 11. So I can do on my host echo hello into dev TTY PTS, sorry, dev PTS 11, and you will see it there, okay? So I'm not bluffing, all right? Yeah. So I'm not bluffing, you see, it's blue, it's noticeable. So we're good. And another thing that we can do, so this is definitely like the Alpine. I can go ahead, I can modify like the installer to start completely, and I can go and, for example, stop at RAM disk, or say that the installer is A only to wrap it, and do all kind of work on the overlay, do a ton of things. So I'm going to run it again. And this time it stops in the RAM disk, and it's workable and everything is good. So it's just before like I do like the chroot, okay? So this is what I've done, and with this you can develop wonderful systems. You can also pass like your sound devices if you want, or you can share the XDG folder and then use either pulse audio or pipewire, and you can share like the display like this. Do all the things that we've done in the other Docker project. Only on the initramfs we only put tiny alpha, so you need to be mindful of that. It works, it does work. Like if I'm on my own file, let's see, let's do this. pscg-dockos-rd merged, okay. I hope it will not mess up the recording, but if I do tiny mix, it cannot open the mixer. It is supposed to work, but I'm not sure which controls I need to use. That's a good question. So let's just do like so you know what, forget about it. I don't want to mess up with my audio here. I know that tiny play will work, but I don't want to mess with it. So basically we can do that, and we can stop, we can modify the command line. We can, instead of stopping in the RAM disk, we can avoid waiting for a movable media and then go directly to the rootfs. We can say that instead of like the AB update, that we want to you want to run everything, and now it will create a partitions and do like all kind of thing, and so on and so forth. But that's and then we see like what we would have before. So this sums up the importance of the pscg-dockos-rd project.